एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभਉ निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त जुनी सहपान गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है पी सच नानक होसी पी सच एक कथती गुरु नानक देवा ओंकार गुरु अंगद पेवा सतनाम गुरु अमर प्यारे करता रामदास गुरबारे पुरख श्री अर्जन सुखदानी निरभਉ हर गोबिंद गुण खानी निर्वैर गुरु है श्री हर राय अकाल मूर्त हर कृष्ण तय अजुनी तेग बहादुर राय सहपान गुरु दसवें साय गुर प्रसाद ग्रंथ गुरु ज्ञाना वाहि गुरु बंदन भगवाना गुरु ग्रंथ कल जुग पया श्री गुरु रूप मान 10 पासा यह रूप है गुरु ग्रंथ जी ज्ञान पूर्ण देखियो आत्मा द्वैत सर्वनिवार पय शांतमान शांते तिन पद नमो मार मुँह को छह शास्त्र खाट पेंगिन छट जाए अंध लखे बदरोसने जो काल के पाक कराए कहा बुद्ध पाप तुझ हमारी बन सके मैं माँ जो तारी हम ना सकता सिर तुम्हारी आप ले हो तुम कथा सुधारी सो कहो टल गुरु सेविय अहनिस सहज सुभाए दर्शन पर से गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाए दर्शन पर से गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाए वाहिगुरु
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी जे जुग चारे आरजा होर दसोनी होए नवा खंडा विच जानिए नाल चले सब कोय चंगा नाउ रखाए कै जस कीर्त जगले जे तिस नदर न आवे तावात न पुछै के कीटा अंदर कीट कर दोषी दोष तरे नानक निर्गुण गुण करे गुणवंतियां गुण दे तेहा कोई ना सुझे जे तिस गुण कोई करे
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह गुरु रूप साध संगत जी वाहिगुरु जी खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. We're continuing on with the Katha of the Sri Japji Sahib. In the previous video we got up to the 7th Pauri and had been through the spiritual definitions given by Bhai Lehna ji to all the Sikhs at Sri Kartarpur Sahib when they were given the Gurgadi by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And now we're going to go on to the third lot of definitions. The third definitions. This is a question that was posed the other day. Why are there so many definitions for the same parts of Gurbani, for the same Pauri? And the reason for that is because the definitions are being uttered at various times. They've already been given to the world by Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, but according to different questions posed by different people in different places, the context is different, so the definitions are different based on what that person is there to gain. Some people are there to just learn about the Atma, some people are there to learn about the world, some people are there to learn about the austerities, some people are there to learn about the different methods they could use, and according to that the definitions are different. So the second spiritual definitions were given, and now we're going to go on to the third lot of definitions. Here, this is a set of definitions that are done by Sikhs who have come to the Guru asking for assistance on how to become one with God. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji was sat with the Sikhs when these questions were posed. So in this third definition, it starts off with a question by the Sikhs to say, Maharaj, you are the all-knowing and the master of all masters, the true master. Tell us of how many methods are there in existence that we could use in order to become one with God. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji replied, Je Jug Chare Arja. Now here, Je Jug Chare. So the words we're going to have a look at is Jug here. So Jug means two. Chare means four. So here it says Je Jug Chare Arja. So what we're talking about here is 6. 4 and 6 equals 6. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, using the 6 Khat Sampadis. The Khat Sampadis are the 6 different methods that you use in order to gain this path towards God. And the 6 are Samadam Sarda, Samadhan, Uparam and Tatiksha. Sam means to remain quiet. Dam means to have a restraint. Sharda is to have faith. Samadhan is to control yourself. Uparam is to have control over sexual urges. Tatiksha is to be able to deal with all the other issues such as pain, hunger, desires. It's to have complete control over those. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that these 6 methods are what a person has to gain for a start. These 6 methods are what a person should be following in order to become one with God. Now it says that the jug here, and there's an alternative definition here that comes straight away. So the term jug means the jeev. The jeev ish, the individual being. So the individual soul will become one using the 4 methods. So jug means to become, and charya here means the 4 different methods. So the 4 different methods are sarvan, manan and adhyasan. Those 3 methods are going to come later on in the Pauris. So you get sunya, those are sarvan, manan is the manna shabads, and adhyasan is the one after that, panch pradhan, panch pradhan. So those are Pauris that are going to come. And then the last one is Tatvan. Tatvan is one of the Mahavakas which states that God is one and the same as the being. But obviously that only happens if ignorance and avidya is removed. Avidya is ignorance as well, but to a greater degree. So once a person gains those 4 methods, arja, they become shrist, they become great, and they become pure in all their way. They become pure and they gain the propagation of purity as well, which is becoming one with God. So that's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji says there. So in answer to that question, those are the 6 methods that need to be used in order to become pure and gain Waheguru. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji continues,
Hor dasuni hoy.
Hor dasuni hoy. Hor means to, give me more. But here, when we talk about more, we mean actually what is more becomes destroyed. So the sunni means becomes destroyed. So what happens is, because you become the form of purity, the form of God, that hor disappears, which is hor we talk about is but life and death. The cycle of life and death of transmigration comes to an end. That dies. That is the merit of doing these methods. And what happens is, it is birth and death that only come due to avidya, which is ignorance. And once ignorance is removed, birth and death is removed as well. And what happens then is the 10 organs that you have, the 5 organs of knowledge and 5 organs of senses, they all give up their desires for wanting and needing different things, whether that is physical, material, sexual or mental desires. They all seem to disappear. They all are destroyed. And it says hor dasuni hoy. Dasuni means the 10 different directions. So in the 10 different directions, all of the desires and wants disappear. And all you get instead is praise. You get praise and glory from everybody. The desires of gaining material wealth or material gains, all of that disappears. It's just gone. And that is due to gaining the true form of Waheguru. The other things that disappear is Dvaita. Dvaita Bhav is duality. Duality causes ignorance, causes doubts, causes a person to ridicule or misunderstand their true nature. That completely disappears, and that is completely gone as well. And what happens with that is instead of it disappearing because you need a minute amount in order to exist in this life, you are able to control it completely and keep it under control, and due to that it is considered to have disappeared. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji continues,
Nava khanda vich jani hai.
Within the 9 khands, the 9 portions of the body we're talking about here, so your 5 organs of knowledge, your 5 organs of action, your 5 organs of creating and causal, your 5 subtle elements that are within you, your Shabad Spada Sarupa Rasagandha, that's in there. Your 4 Antishkaran, your mind concept, your mind faculty, so Manabuddha Chitta Han, there and there. Your Tenagon, the 3 virtues that make up the body of Sattva, Tamo and Rajo. Your body itself, the 5 Sukham, Sukham means subtle, the 5 Sukham, the subtle elements within you, and the 5 gross elements within you. If you want to know what all these individual things are. The Vichar-Chandrodaya has been translated, and you can find them within there. And they're also found within the Vichar Sagar, and it explains what these things are. They're the gross and subtle elements that make up your body. So, Navakhanda Vichajaniya. So what happens is, within the 9 parts of the body, the Abhiman, the ignorance disappears. It goes. And instead, it is replaced by the illumination of Vaheguru, and a person understands everything around them. The other definition, Navakhanda. So, Navakhanda. Akhanda means uncuttable, undestroyable. Like we call it an akhanda part, it's continuous. God in itself is continuous. And then this, what happens is that continuous Vaheguru becomes embedded within the heart of the individual. So the Guru is given these answers, and the Sikhs then ask the further question, say, Sacha Pasha, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. When a person is able to eradicate all of their ignorance in one go, does it not come back? And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji replies,
Naal chale sab koi.
And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, how can this ignorance come back again? It's gone. And they said, what happens is, whatever ignorance exists, once that is destroyed, the desires, the wanting, the needs, the pain, the suffering, the greed, they all disappear. Everything goes, and instead they are turned into good virtues within the body. And they all disappear. Once they are disappeared, they can't come again. The example given within the Sampardaic Tikas of this is a tree. Once a tree has its roots uprooted, it no longer gives shade. It disappears and it cannot be saved in any way. The tree is gone. And in the same way, avidya is the same. Once avidya is removed, it has no roots to embed itself again. It completely disappears and it's completely gone. And here is the same. Once Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, once the tree is removed, then the shade is gone, the petals are gone, the flowers are gone, the fruit are gone. Everything to do with it is disappeared. In the same way, when the root cause of ignorance is removed from the individual, then it doesn't come back. It goes, and you realise that what the root cause of individual was that was keeping you on this earth. Once that's gone, the desires that you have are replaced, though. They're replaced, and it's within here, within the Sampardaic Tika, Sandhyan Gurbachan Singh Ji and Santamir Singh Ji both give the example that's written within the Ram Gita. Within the Ram Gita, there's a quote where Sri Ramchandra Ji is sat with Lakshman, and Lakshman asks him, says, does ignorance ever take place again? Does it ever set root again? And Sri Ramchandra Ji reply, Nashtapai upajaya nahi, bahora vidya veer. So Veed stands for my brother. So saying, look, my brother, my beloved brother, once the ignorance has been removed, it does not come back. It cannot take root again. In the same way, and he gives the example as well, in the same way that when the roots of a tree are removed, then it no longer gives any shade. And in this way, the ignorance will not come back. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji is stating that here when they get Naal Chale Sab Koi, they're saying that. Naal Chale Sab Koi, it won't come back. There's no way it can come back. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji then continues.
Changa naud khai ke jas kirt jagale.
Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji says what you do then is Changa naud khai ke. Well, what is the greatest name available? The greatest name available to you is God. God's name. So he says Vaheguru, that is the name of God's name. He goes, once you take that within your heart and adopt it, then you get praised. You get praised within this world, because people look at the sadhus, the sants, the poets, those Kavi Santokh Singh Ji, people like that, great ragis of yesteryear, who all adopted the name of God within them. Once they gain the name of God, everybody praises them. Done. That's what they're regarded. The Bhagats are exactly the same. They adopted the name of God, and they are praised up until this day, and they always will be. So they say that Maharaj says that Changa Naurakai ke Jasakirata Jagale. So they say within this world, the Sangat and other people will praise them. So those people who praise them, they are the Sikhs of the Guru, they are the sons, they are the Bhagats, they are the Jivan Mukhs. They all take the Upadesh, they all take the discourses and gain knowledge within them. From gaining that knowledge, they work upon that knowledge to gain, from indirect knowledge, they gain direct knowledge of God. They understand everything and become one with God. And it's through the Sangat that a person can propagate this. So the Guru answers those questions, and again, questions are posed to the Guru following those answers. And they say, "Oh Maharaj," say Satya Bhasha, which means it's true, the true king. Those saints, those people who have divine knowledge, the subtle desires of Shabad Spars Rupa Rasa Gandh and the subtle 5 lustful actions, do they ever come back? Obviously we've talked about the analogy of the tree, and this is where we're going to go into the tree again. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji to this question replies, they said, when you're talking about the Tattva, when you're talking about the saints, when you're talking about the enlightened individuals, they end up having a certain amount of desires remaining within them. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji goes, so this, but it says another Na'avi, but these cannot be seen by any eyes. Nobody can see them because they actually do disappear, but the enlightened individuals remain as normal human beings. They stay as they are. So even if they have any of those desires, they control them. They turn those desires into further desires later on, which are positive desires, which will be discussed. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji then are asked a further question and said, Maharaj, what type of desires remain with them then? So what are these desires? You're saying that some desires remain within them, but what are those desires? And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji replies, Ta vaat na puchhe ke. They say, no, people don't ask them about it. Those desires that stay within them are all good desires. So the desires to read the Granth, so read the spiritual text, to eulogize the text, to commentate upon the text, to meditate upon those texts. They have these sorts of desires, while all the other desires that were within them, which were negative prior to that, are all eradicated. They disappear. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji continue. Kita andar keet kar. So Maharaj said, Kita andar keet kar. So these people, even though they're enlightened, within the Sangat, they remain the student, and always remain the lowest of all students, trying to get rid of all their what do we call them? We'll call them dirt within them. They consider themselves soil within. So what they're trying to do is get rid of the traces of Maya that remain with them. Maya is split into two, Avaran and Vakirp Shakti. However, within Sikhi we also have Mal that we look at. So these are the three things that cause a person to be sullied inside internally. And what they do is they use that, and what they do is they remain the humblest out of everybody, and in that way are able to get rid of these things which attach themselves to them, eradicating all sin while they have it as well, and they cut it all the way through. So Gita and the Gita God. So what they're doing is they're cutting it out, they're getting rid of it and destroying it from within. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji continue. So those desires that are within that cause pain, cause illness, cause sickness, cause you to go towards the bad congregation and things like that, they eradicate them. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying that's what they do. So these are the desires that they have, to eradicate all bad desires. So rather than having the materialistic desires that others have, they have the total opposite. They decide to get rid of. So the desires of sexual desires, the desires of materialistic desires of food and things like that, they go. They are destroyed and they remain like that all the time, because we've said before, those desires, avidya does not come back. Once they are clean and purified, it isn't like a case of algae or moss or bacteria where it regrows. It disappears all the time. And those people that don't, who remain with these desires, then they could act spiritual, but they will end up suffering, such as in Gurbani, where we have the accounts of Sahansar down the, that Shabad talks about all the people that cried, like Parasaram, Ram, in the Rawaya, all of them cried and they suffered due to these desires. So for that reason, those individuals who have the desire to meditate, learn and things like that, they will not suffer these things again. And in this way, those individuals that still have a small, minute amount of ego within them, they will suffer, because once the ego remains in, that will spread. Ignorance is the root cause of ego, of pride. Once that's gone, it's gone. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji say that. They say that the saints and the individuals who are Vishaypurk, what they do is they get rid of the Vishaypurk, the individuals who are with desires, and what they do is they help them get rid of their desires and make them realise that this is an important life, the human life itself, and what they can gain from it. And then Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji finishes off with
Nanak nirgun gun kare.
Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that the Nirgun Swarup of Vaheguru, the formless form of Vaheguru, is without any virtues, does not have any virtues. Within Japji Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji touched on it straight away. Chakkar Charan aur ban jaat aur paat nahin jai, roop rang aur rek ve kau kehna sakt kya, achal murtan pau prakash amit toj ki hi jai. So they say within that first stanza of the Jap Sahib that Vaheguru's Nirgun doesn't have any of these things. And same with Gurbani, it says roop na rekna rang ke chitra guna te prapin. That it's that knowledge that you want to gain. That is the knowledge that you do gain of the formless Vaheguru. And then Guru Nanak Dev Ji continues.
Gunvantiya gunade.
And those individuals who gunavante, those individuals who are full of virtues, full of things like that, and are knowledgeable, they understand the characteristics of Vaheguru, the lak pad. So what we're talking about is the characteristics. They understand the characteristics, and through that they become liberated whilst in life. And so Guru Nanak Dev Ji then continue.
Teha koi na sujjai.
They say within this world there is no other like them. There is nothing else. They realise that there's nothing else that they've seen, or that they can see, or they can understand to be the same as the Nirgun Vaheguru. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji then finish off with
Je tis gun koi kare.
Je tis gun koi kare. They say that individual who gives up the desire, gives up the three virtues, those things never come back again. They disappear. They gain the grace of the Satguru. Through the grace of the Satguru, they are able to get rid of all of their bad virtues, bad traits, faults, mistakes, whatever you want to call them. They become enlightened. From becoming enlightened beings, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that they gain the desired knowledge of the Nirgun Brahm. So this is the definition for the seventh body, and that was the last definition. So 7 bodies have been completed, and up till now Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji have spoken about Brahmgyan. This is the divine knowledge. So 7 bodies cover that. The next 4 bodies that are going to appear are all going to start on Sarvan Mananadas, and that's what we're going to go through now. So 7 bodies of divine knowledge have been answered through question and answer dialogue with the Siddhs, the Sikhs, and Sangat. And the next body will start on the 8th body, on the 8th body. So for today's body, we'll leave it there. Kamalpreet Singh, if you want to close up, please.
Je jug chare arja hord suni hoy, nawa khanda vich janiye, naal chale sab koy, changa naud khai ke, jas kirt chagale, je tis nazar na avei, ta vaat na puche ke, कीटा अंदर कीट कर दोषी दोष तरे नानक निर्गुण गुण करे गुणवंतिया गुण दे तेहा कोई ना सूझे जे तिस गुण कोई करे.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। हे गोबिंद हे गोपाल हे दयाल लाल प्राणनाथ अनाथ सखे दीन दर्द निवार। हे समर्थ अगम पूरन मोहे मया तार अंधकूप महाभयान नानक पारे उतार। आय प्रभ शरणागति कृपा निध दयाल एक अखर हर मन वस्त नानक होत निहाल। एक अखर हर मन वस्त नानक होत निहाल। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।